The newest floor plan built in Leander, Texas has a wide open main living area, but it's the primary bedroom that everyone's talking about in this plan. If you like open concept homes, stick with me for a great tour. Now this is the 4199 plan built by Perry Homes. We're in a community called Palmera Ridge right here in Leander, Texas, and I'm going to show you homes for sale later on in this video, one that currently has an amazing view off the backyard, so stick with me for all of that. Now this floor plan has 5 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, a 3-car tandem garage, and the name of the plan, 4199, is also the approximate square footage. And as you can tell, right when we walk in through the front door, we got those big double doors that bring in so much natural light. We're open to the second story in that grand entrance, but we got to go right out to the main living area because when we talk about open concept homes, Perry Homes is taking it to a next level in this main living area. And I don't think I've seen too many builders put windows on top of sliding glass doors and then more windows on top of that and open up all the main living area like they do in this plan. Now I know this specific model home looks out to some stonework, so there's not much of a view here, but there's views coming up later on in the video, and if you're looking at pricing, I'll give you pricing of this floor plan later in the video of this exact floor plan being built right down the street from here. Now we're going to start right here in the kitchen, and while we do, let me introduce myself. My name is Raj Sahu, and I'm a realtor in Austin, Texas. I've represented clients with 22 different builders, so I'll give you the perspective of walking so many of these homes with clients who reach out to me through YouTube. And it all starts with this wide open kitchen area. 5 windows on top of 2 windows, so many tall ceilings, a fun design underneath the transom windows up there, and cabinetry everywhere. So many of my clients tell me they want the 2-tone cabinetry. They want a darker cabinet on the bottom and then a lighter cabinet on top. Forces your eyes to look up, and I love how Perry matched that lower cabinet color with the designer vent hood color. They also ran this beautiful countertop into the kitchen backsplash, which looks fantastic, but I have to go back to the ceilings. You can't even understand the amount of natural light that's coming into this main living area because everything's open and there are windows everywhere. Now I want to give a shout out to Perry Homes because there's a worker upstairs. You can see them in frame, and there were people in and out of this house while I was trying to take this video, but it's because I came in early. I just couldn't help myself. One of the builder agents who I did a transaction with about 4.5 years ago that works for Perry, it was in a different community called Bryson in Leander, Texas, and now Bryson's closed out, but we had worked on a 3,400 square foot home together, and she sent me pictures of this home. And I said, I have to get that. I don't care if you have workers going in and out. I need to get it ASAP because people need to see this plan. And one of those reasons is something that we saw earlier. The primary bedroom is unbelievable. It has 12 windows off the back wall. We'll see that in full detail in a second. But the other surprise is coming up here. It's the backyard patio where there's a structural upgrade. But I want to first show you this dining room area, which is clearly mixed in with the kitchen and living room. So people that tell me their dining room as a dedicated dining room is a complete waste of space, this is the plan for you because the dining room's really mixed in with this area. But what I gotta go back to that we'll cover and then we'll head out to the backyard next is this living room. This fireplace style really stuck out as a fantastic upgrade, but it's the cabinets and the freestanding shelves on either side that really knock it out of the park. Because I can't tell you how many times I've seen people come out to this main living area, their eyes go right to the kitchen, all the upgrades, their eyes look at this fireplace and all this beautiful design, like these cabinets and the freestanding shelves that match up with the lower cabinets in the kitchen, and their eyes look up. It looks at the ceiling height, and then their eyes go right out through these sliding glass doors. They take in all the natural light, and for neighborhoods like this, like Palmera Ridge, where there's the topography, there's some beauty here, people think about building this plan on a view lot that looks out for miles. Now, before we get to the views that are here in Palmera Ridge, you have to see this backyard patio. And you're gonna see later on in the video, there's no furniture later on in the video out here. And it's because I had to do the video in a couple different takes, and there's so many reasons why. But all you need to worry about is if you like backyards and you're looking to move to Texas and you're thinking about spending time in a backyard oasis, this is exactly what I think when I come out to backyards like this. And I love builders when they make adjustments based on feedback that they're getting from buyers. And I've had feedback from buyers that they really really gravitate towards the plans that have these epic patios. Even if you don't have a ton of yard space, people can still spend so much time just in their patio with an outdoor kitchen, a grill. They can eat outside here. If they're worried about bugs, they can maybe do mosquito nets that come down, and they just want the indoor space to feel like it's part of the outdoor space. And I can't even count how many windows are back there. So you know that when you're inside the home, it feels like you're outside because of all those windows. But what I got to point out to you is this extension on the patio is incredible. So many people tell me they want to spend more time outdoors, and sometimes just having a place for an 8-seater table back here with a gas stub out on the left side works so well to spend time outdoors. But views are everything. Check this out. Hey, real quick, if you're loving the tall ceilings, the windows everywhere on homes built by Perry, but you gotta have a view off the back of your home, you wanna look out to greenery, well then stick with me, because towards the end of this video, I'm gonna show you this home for sale at the time I'm recording this video, right around $1 million that Perry just built that looks out to this. And this is why I keep coming out to Leander, Texas and showcasing options that I find so many people love seeing that reach out to me through YouTube. They want to back up to a view, they want to back up to greenery, and that's why I keep showing it. Now, if that's you and you want to connect with us, you want to know what your best options are that are coming up 3 months from now, 6 months from now, we're constantly trying to find communities that great builders are building in or sections that are about to open up months from now. So if you want to connect, scan this QR code on the left side of your screen. If you're watching this on TV, what it does is it starts a text message with my cell phone, and all you got to do is click send, and then that will connect us together. We'll get to know a little bit about your criteria. Even if you're early, we can identify some good options to start making progress in the home search process for great communities here in the Austin, Texas metro area. Now, if you're watching this on your cell phone, no worries. Just go to the bottom of the description of this video. You'll see my cell phone there, and either call or text me. We can connect, and I can start showing you amazing options that fit your criteria of homes here in Austin, Texas, or around Austin, Texas. Now, if you're loving this view, you want to see this home for detail, stick with me. I got it coming up later on in the video. Back to the video. Okay, we're gonna get back to the inside of the home, and don't worry, we're gonna get to that primary bedroom. So usually when I show this many windows off of a back wall, it's almost the living room every time, but that's actually the primary bedroom that we're gonna get to in a minute or two. But what I want to show you next is a room that so many people tell me it was a want to have maybe 5 years ago, and now so many people tell me this is a must have. If they don't have this in their home, they're not even open to seeing that. And that room is a secondary bedroom downstairs. Now, this is really important for a lot of people who reach out to me, especially the ones that reach out from the West Coast or a major city in the US, and they just can't get the square footage that they want in a home. A lot of them are in tech. A lot of them want to be around tech growth in another city, but in another city where they can get the square footage that they really want. And that's why they're looking at Austin. And one of the biggest reasons why they need more square footage, and I just had this happen about a few weeks ago, is somebody told me they need to have a space for their parents to stay with them long term. And when they said long term, they didn't really know what that was, right? It definitely wasn't a weekend. It definitely wasn't just for a week. Sometimes their parents might stay with them for months. Maybe it might be something permanent where their parents just need to stay with them. And why this is a big topic is it's a very tough subject to talk about. And I'll share with you a story here in a second of something that relates to the client who reached out to me. The client was mentioning that they had one of their parents pretty much stumble along an uneven pavement and fall. And one of their parents ended up being okay after falling, but they really, sprained their ankles, a really hard sprain, they're on crutches. And what it made them realize is their parents they can easily get around right now, but the tough part is falling is one of the biggest concerns that people get as they get a little bit older. And the last thing they wanted to do was buy a house that their parents would be in, where they have to go up and down the steps, they have to get in and out of a bathtub. And one of the biggest must-haves for that reason was having a second bedroom downstairs, for the exact reason that I mentioned. And I gotta tell you, it's tough for me to talk about because recently, a couple months ago,
I had something happen to my uncle who lives in Canada. He ended up falling down some steps. Obviously, I'm only sharing it because he's okay. He's fine now. But once I knew that he was fine, we checked in with him, the first thing I thought about was, man, my parents, they're kind of getting to that age of they're very comfortable getting around, but how long is that going to last? And that is a terrifying thought to think about, but these are the tough conversations that we're having with our clients, so they plan accordingly, because these aren't short-term purchases. These are long-term purchases. And for a lot of my clients that tell me they want to be comfortable in their home, they want something that has an epic design, then I think about plans like this, because I have never seen a primary bedroom that looks like this in Leander. Absolutely incredible. Let me know what you think about this primary bedroom. Now, what I was gonna get to was the primary bedroom it's very functional, right? We have space between the primary bedroom and the secondary bedroom, but forget about functionality for a second. Take a look at the design that's here. This is incredible. There are 12 windows off that back wall. I gotta look up again. It's perfect for a chandelier like this in that tray ceiling. And then I love this designer accent wall that they did that was very simple, provides an elegant touch on this back wall. I have a lot of my clients doing this after closing, doing accent walls like this. I have somebody who does great work with wood and accent walls, and they do a lot of fun things in accent walls in bedrooms, studies. They've even done one for one of my clients that has a grand entrance with 20-foot tall ceilings, and there's so much fun things that you can do. But what you can't do is increase ceiling size or ceiling height after closing. And so I think the fact that they had such tall ceilings, they already have so many windows out the back wall, it's just asking for great design like they did in that primary bedroom. Let me know what you think about that, and wait until you see the game room upstairs with the media room. Everything's very open to that wide open main living area. Really impressed with this $41.99 plan. And by the end of this, I want to know what you think about this plan. And I also want to compare it to the next plan, which is just over 3,600 square feet. Does have a great view. And I will also mention the pricing towards the end of this video of this plan that is actually for sale down the street from here as an inventory home. And right now it's completed. So I can also show you a video of that home if it's needed. Now in this plan, and what I think Perry does really well, you'll also see this in the next home that we tour, is instead of doing one closet, they do two closets on either side. That way you don't have to fight for space. And oftentimes what I see people do is they do a third-party closet build out. So they get more functionality in this space. They do built-in drawers. I don't see too many builders offering that, but don't worry about it. There are plenty of third-party companies that do it, specialize in it, and can get you great functionality in those spaces. That way, with two separate closets, neither of them massive, but it still gets you that separate space so you can design that closet space how you want. And I usually have most people going to third-party companies for all that. Okay, now just to orient yourself, that was the back bedroom that we were just at, separate from the primary bedroom that had those tall ceilings. What I did not want to forget doing is take a look at the powder bath, which is tucked in right off of the main living area. We still got a study at the front of the home. We have a separate dining area. Everything's very open in here, and you're gonna see that in the next home as well. Okay, one thing that I did not want to forget is we do have access to your garageway over there, but right now they have that as a builder agent's office. And because I'm getting in here a little bit early, they don't have anything in this dining area. But for one of my clients, they built the 3917 plan, and what they really liked about it was the same tall ceilings, very open concept, and all the design that they could do when they had these tall ceilings and windows everywhere. And I think you see that right when you come in through the front door. It pretty much accents that chandelier really well. Let me know what you think about that. Okay. Moving on, what we have next is something that people tell me they have to have when they're looking at these areas of Leander. And for a lot of people that don't know how cities get built out in Texas, is we build wide very fast. And it's because this is Texas. We got nothing but land around us. And instead of going vertical, which is very cost ineffective and also it creates traffic challenges and all sorts of issues, people are willing to go far out in the suburbs to get more square footage. But what ends up happening is the growth catches up to these areas in the suburbs. And for a lot of these people, they're working from home or they're on some sort of hybrid where they're only going to the office a few days a week. And even if they have some sort of temporary challenge with their tech company, what I've been told from a lot of people is they feel like that's just short term. A lot of times with the tech companies, especially with the recent changes with AI, instead of announcing a layoff, what they do, because the layoff's gonna hurt their stock, they might say everybody's got to come back to the office. But then 6 months later after the announcement, they don't really care too much about that. And for some people that push back, they can still get that work from home. So I'm not seeing as much work from home, obviously, compared to the pandemic, but I'm still seeing it often. And the headlines are talking about everybody going back to work. What I'm hearing from a lot of tech people is, again, that's just a way to get people to leave the company so they don't have to announce layoffs. Let me know if you're seeing something different. Is that overblown, like I'm getting from a lot of people, that there are still a ton of people working from home? Or is that real? Is your company forcing you to come back to work in the company office that they told you never had to report back to? Okay, moving on, we want to get to the game room, which is right behind me, but I can't breeze over this. So many people tell me they want tall ceilings everywhere. And sometimes they can get that in their living room, but not their kitchen. Sometimes it's in their dining room, but not their kitchen or living room. But it's rarely all three. And in this plan, we got all three very open. I think that beam running across the ceiling really forces your eyes to look up. And then upstairs, we have a big game room, loft area with a media room attached to this. And this is what so many people tell me they have to have in their plan. When we talk about one-story plans, there are some good one-story plans with Perry. If you want more square footage, you want more space, people tend to gravitate to that second story option. And it just gets them more square footage. Now, what people tell me on their second story that they love, that is usually missing on their first story, is they need a game room. They have to have that play area. They don't want to walk on toys. They don't want to constantly be tripping over things, and they want a space that people can enjoy. The tough part is when you don't have a media room, which, by the way, I love how there's a video game playing here on the TV. But the problem with only having a game room that looks out to the living room is you don't get any privacy, right? If you put a TV in the game room, you can most definitely hear that in the kitchen and living room. And that's why having this media room option is almost non-negotiable at this point. And when I say non-negotiable, at the time I'm recording this video, it's included in the plan. In fact, what you see here structurally is almost everything that you see in this model home. There are some exceptions, like the sliding glass doors on the back wall. The patio had an extension to it. Usually those backyard things do have an upgrade so that it's optional depending on the property. But the media room being included, I think, is so important because having that enclosed space on your second floor, it gets you that privacy. And that's what a lot of people want. They want open concept, but they still want privacy in these different areas. What I also like is at your eye line, which I didn't really show, once you get to the top of the stairwell here, you can see right out through those windows. So this floor plan is really asking for a view lot. I know you don't see that here because we're looking out to a hill, but there's some amazing views in Leander, some other areas that my clients are building in, that Perry's also building in, and I love showcasing those amazing views because you don't have to get views in your home. Sometimes people just like being in a community with amazing views. It's why they moved to Texas. But then when you look out your wall and you can see into the distance for miles, it's quite the dream to think about having that right off your backyard, especially when you have that many windows looking out to your backyard. And if you're loving views, stick with me. I got a home that's coming up just over 3,600 square feet that's for sale, right around $1 million. that's coming up here in a few minutes that has an amazing view, and it's fully built out from Perry. It's just a different plan, a little bit less square footage. Now, if you're loving this plan, you think those windows off, yeah, spoiler alert, it doesn't have the primary bedroom that you saw earlier. So if you're loving that primary bedroom with all those windows and you still need functionality, still need a second bedroom downstairs, well, then this plan is currently for sale in the neighborhood. I'm going to put the price of that home in the description of this video, and it will stay there until that home sells. But if you want to reach out to me for pricing, you want to understand how prices are fluctuating in these different areas, that's what I'm constantly looking at, and I'm happy to provide that for you. Just reach out. Okay, while we're in here, what we'll talk about while we go through these spare bedrooms, we got a full bathroom in between them, is a lot of people are looking at how different areas are developing in Austin. I'm going to talk about some of those developments later on in the video. Some of these developments have done well. They've made some progress, but some of the developments are dialing things back, and that is always going to be tough to see. I always tell people, with these developments, if it's not there and it's just planned, take that with a grain of salt. I think I've said that now for years. But when people do make these plans and something comes up and then they pull back a little bit, it might just be growth pulling back temporarily. And why I say that is you have to look at how these cities are growing, especially in Texas when they grow wide like this. Some pockets of the Austin, Texas metro were growing rapidly like everything was during the pandemic, but now they've come to a screeching halt and nothing is happening there. Some of these pockets of the Austin, Texas metro were growing rapidly during the pandemic, like everywhere it was, and now it's just slowed down. And I think understanding the differences between the two is really important. And what I would tell you is there are big developments or big companies that have looked at this Northwest corridor that have made huge bets on this area. And those are 10, 20, 30-year bets. And I'm very confident in those bets that they made. By the way, they're not like betting at a casino. I mean, they've invested a lot in this area. These companies are not profitable for many years. I know some of them and have talked to employees at these companies that some of them are losing money in the first few years they're opening, but they're still very confident in the long-term growth in these areas. And that's why they built their companies north and northwest of the Austin, Texas downtown area. And some of these are 20 miles northwest of the city. Now I'm going to cover some of them in the next home tour that again is for sale. But before we get to that home tour with an amazing view, if you're more interested in building a home from scratch with Perry, well, you got to check out this lot. Hey, real quick, if you love the idea of building from scratch, picking all your design upgrades, at the time I'm recording this video, this is one of the lots that's available that looks out currently to an amazing view. Now, if you're wondering what this view would like with a completed home, I'm gonna show it to you in about a minute. But what I do wanna tell you is what so many people reach out to me for is help during the design phase with different builders. Because I've been to numerous design studios, represented clients with 21 different builders, and I find the preparation of the pros and cons with these different builders can change the decision on who you decide to build from. So if you want to get insight on who some of the best builders are with design, what they're offering at the different design studios, and my clients' experiences going through that process, then reach out to us. If you scan this QR code, right now, it will start a text message. All you got to do is click send, and then we can connect, talk about your options, and understand what builders are best for you. And I don't work for any of the builders. I represent my clients. I represent their best interests, and I'm not afraid to talk about the bad parts of these different builders. And as you can tell, I like showcasing Perry because I think there are good things about Perry, but with every builder, there's always going to be pros and cons. Reach out to me for the details on that. And again, if you want to see amazing views off your backyard, then they're right here with this completed home for sale. Now, this is the 3658 plan built by Perry Homes right here in Palmera Bluff, formerly known as Palmera Ridge, but it's pretty much the same thing. And this home has amazing views and is a 5-bedroom, 4.5 bathroom home. The name of the plan, 3658, is also the approximate square footage. And we got a 3-car garage, we got views off the back, and I'm going to be as transparent as possible of what's happening behind the home because we got amazing greenery that's there, and we got an open concept home that I'm gonna show you in full detail. Now, this home is currently listed for sale just under $1,008,000, or better stated, just a little bit over $1 million. You can get this open concept home that has amazing topography back here. And this is why I keep coming out to Leander, Texas, and these northwest corridor of the Austin metro, is because for everybody moving to Austin saying, hey, they need something that's not multi-million-dollar home, it's something that's brand new, that has greenery behind it, is open concept, and they want to be in the northwest corridor of the Austin metro. Maybe they want to be close to tech companies that are here. Well, they look at options like this, and this is why for 5 years now, I've continued to showcase homes that are really well done, that have amazing views off the back. So stick with me for this great tour. Now, as you can tell on the 3658 plan, we got a similar open concept home where you got this wide open kitchen. Look at all the cabinetry that's everywhere. I like how they did a fun backsplash, just a different color that provides a contrast. And we have under cabinet lighting that accents all the great design that's in here. Now, what I think stands out in this kitchen is always going to be the designer vent hood that's above this GE Cafe stovetop. I think Perry does this really well for my clients that built with Perry from scratch, like the 3917 plan, the 4197, so many plans. I've had a client build almost 5,000 square feet with Perry. They always tell me they love the design upgrades that they see, especially for the kitchen area. And I think this countertop is the other focal point that really stands out in this kitchen, simply because the veins running through it really get pulled out by all the great colors that are in this kitchen. But what I gotta keep going back to, on a home that's near completion, that's why you see some tape up on the wall, they're still kind of completing some things, you can see past that easily because of all the great lighting and tall ceilings that are here throughout the home. And you really feel that in this main living area. But don't worry, I'm gonna head outside. I'm gonna show you that view here in a second. But while we're in the kitchen area, I did wanna show you there is a utility room back here. And then behind me is a butler's pantry. And that's because on the other side of this butler's pantry is a dining room. Now, we're gonna get to that a little bit later on in the video, but I did wanna show you, I like how they extended the cabinetry here towards the butler's pantry and did similar upgrades that really accent the kitchen that's over here. But we got a pantry area here, we got a pantry area on the other side of the kitchen. And I don't want to look past this because this is one of the things that people tell me it's not a deal breaker. And then they look at homes, and I've literally had somebody look at a 4,000 square foot home recently, and they said, pantry is not a deal breaker. And then they looked at a home and the pantry was the size of a linen closet, and that was it. And they said, absolutely not. We're not doing this every day. Where are we going to put our groceries? We're going to stuff them in cabinets? We can't do it. And what I like about that area is they did 2 pantries. And we also have a butler's pantry, and we got so much storage in this home. In fact, that door on the right side is actually storage underneath the stairwell. But I think for this home, it's all about this main living area. We got a fireplace, which accents all the great design behind me that was in the kitchen. And so I can't tell you how many times I've had clients come out to a plan like this. They go to the main living area, and they look at the fireplace, they look at that tile going all the way up to the ceiling, they look at the kitchen to their left and all the great cabinetry and design that we just talked about, and then their eyes look right out through the windows and they say, okay, I wanted an open concept home that makes it feel like I'm capturing the beauty of Austin, and that's exactly what they feel right when they get to this main living area. Now, I don't want to look past the functional items that are here. A floor outlet is so important. Can't really do this after closing because it does go into the concrete. And so that's great for a recliner, or I get a lot of people that say, hey, I work from home and sometimes I just need to get out of my study and I need to get into a wide open living room, and they just take their laptop to their couch, they get their work done, maybe a work call that's casual, and they love just getting out to that main living area and having functional items like the floor outlet. Also, you saw a outlet up on the fireplace, perfect for a TV. And then the functionality continues here in the backyard patio, where you got a gas stub out on the right side for an outdoor kitchen area, so you can put a grill there. And then you got nothing but beauty here in Leander, Texas. And this is why I keep coming out to areas like this, because so many people tell me, hey, I want a view and then I need usable backyard space. And that's exactly what you see on this backyard. Absolutely incredible. Now, I want to be transparent with you. If you want to know what's back here beyond the property line, let me know. I can disclose that to you. I did get that information from the builder agent. And just in case things change, I don't want to put that right now in a public-facing video. So if things do change and you reach out to me, I'm happy to talk about those changes of what's going on beyond the property line. But as you can tell here on this property, we got a pond in the distance, we got some beauty, and I think when you drive out to this section, you really get a feel of the beauty that's here in Palmera Ridge. Okay, now I've called this community Palmera Ridge for years, since I've been a realtor basically, because this has been around for a little while, and I never called it Palmera Bluff, so I think they just, for some reason, shifted that name, but to my knowledge, it really doesn't make much of a difference. So Palmera Ridge, Palmera Bluff. We do have a couple amenity centers here. We have one of those amenity centers that's built very close by to this home. It also has an amazing view because it's perched up on a hill. And that's what so many people tell me they want in their home. And while we get back into the home, I'm gonna show you the spare bedroom that's downstairs. Then we're gonna get to the primary bedroom, and wait until we get to that primary bedroom. It's incredible because it looks off the back of the home, just like this spare bedroom does. And while we get in here, I want to talk about master plan communities, because that's what a lot of people are exploring right now. Is there are a lot of master plan communities that exist right now, and some that are even coming up for sale in the future that are just starting out. And a lot of people ask me, what should they be looking for in a community? Because a lot of them have an amenity center. A lot of them, you know, have different types of homes in them. And so people always ask me, well, what's the differentiating factor in these master plan communities? And the big topic that I talk about is going to be, well, what are the homes that are being built in this neighborhood? That is the number one question that I start off with. And the main reason why is when these communities get built out and they have a lot of homes that are, let's call it 2,500 square feet and under. Well, when that happens, and the builders are open up to investors, investors start to pile their cash into those communities. And when they do that, they're not buying the home and living in them, they're buying to rent them out. And the tough part about being in a neighborhood that is rental heavy is, number one, it's not great for livability, right? You have tenants that are constantly coming in and out of the community. I'm not putting renting down. My wife and I rented for many years before we bought our home. But when you have homeowners in the property, they tend to take care of the homes at a much higher probability, and they tend to upgrade the homes. When I say upgrade the homes, they start doing design work on the outside of the home, on the inside. Some people put in pools. Some people say, hey, I love this view off my backyard. I'm gonna plant some landscaping back there and put in a pool to really continue to add to these homes. And when you're in neighborhoods that continue to have homes get upgraded and upgraded and upgraded, what ends up happening is it's basically two things. Number one, these are really never going to turn into rentals, right? Once they get over a certain square footage, the price to rent ratio does not make sense from an investment standpoint. Also, when people put money into their homes and continue to upgrade them, they tend to live in them long term. And so that's where you get these homes that are lived in for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and people really don't want to leave. And when people don't want to leave a community, that's great for future resale because it constricts inventory that is for sale in the neighborhood. And also, when people sell, they've upgraded their homes. And even if you didn't upgrade your home, but you're in a neighborhood that's around it, there's a prestige factor that plays, right? I can't tell you how many times I've had clients reach out to me through YouTube and they look around neighborhoods and they fall in love with a particular neighborhood that has great forever homes that are open concept, well designed, well thought out. And they tell me, hey, I don't want to look around at any other neighborhoods. I just want to be in this neighborhood. And when people say this neighborhood, and it's a master plan community that has all these grand homes that have a lot of people pumping in money into them and upgrading them, I cannot tell you how much of a factor that plays for future resale of these homes. And that's why when I'm looking around communities, I'm really trying to identify what are the homes being built in these neighborhoods, and are people upgrading them? Who's buying them? Are they staying long term? These are the questions that I continue to dig in on every master plan community. Now, the other factor that I look at is, well, what's the growth that's happening around these communities? And what's the future variable that when it happens, that could play a huge role in the livability of the neighborhood and the future resale? And I'll give you one of those factors while we head to the front of the home. I'm going to show you a dining room. There's a study. So we just saw 2 bedrooms that are very private from each other because they're separated by this main living area and the patio. So if you have, like a lot of my clients call me, they tell me they have parents staying with them on the first floor. So having them comfortable in their own bedroom, private from the other areas, private from the primary bedroom, they love that idea. And when they look at the homes like this is why I think Perry built this as an inventory home here. It really captures the beauty that's here in Palmera Ridge, but also is very functional for people that are looking at multi-generational living, which is a lot of my clients who reach out to me right now. This is going to be the dining room. If you recall, we saw previously that butler's pantry area. There's a study behind me that we're going to get to, and then we're going to go upstairs to show you the game room, media room. Still a lot to see here. But while we go through this, going back to livability and future resale, oftentimes what I look for is highways. I know highways is not the funnest thing to talk about, but accessibility, transportation, it's everything when you're looking at the suburbs, because people are willing to move out to the suburbs if they have access to different things they want to be around in the Austin, Texas metro area. So the big highway that I was talking about for years that just completed is 183A, going all the way up to a highway called 29. And basically 183A is a major highway system that runs through around the city of Austin. It actually goes all the way down to the airport. It goes to the Domain area, which is like the second downtown of Austin, has a lot of tech companies in that area. Apple is building their second headquarters close by to 183. And when that highway was announced that it was going to get extended through Leander all the way up to the suburb north of here called Liberty Hill, I was talking about that highway constantly. And it's because when you have a highway running through these master plan communities, what's going to end up happening? Developers are going to start knocking. They're going to start looking at, well, how can we develop this area? How can we get different developments that can capitalize on this extension of the highway? And guess what happened? 2 major developments got announced. One that's under construction called Leander Northline. It's a $1 billion development that's pretty much a multi-use development where I believe they're gonna have apartments and shops and different things that basically make it feel like you get that urbanish vibe. Don't get me wrong, it's not gonna be like a mini downtown, and to my knowledge, it's not gonna be the size of the Domain area, which has emerged as our second downtown. But it's gonna be something that you can go to that has events, that can get you out of your car, walking around, meeting up with friends, enjoying the life here in Leander. And by the way, this is the game room. I like how they have a lot of great windows. It opens up really nicely to the living room. And a lot of people that tell me they want an open concept home, but they also want privacy in these different areas of the home. And I think at this square footage, it's pretty much mandatory to have the next room, which is a media room, because this is an enclosed space. It's got double doors that you can pretty much close up and get privacy here. So watching a ball game, a movie, there's already pre-wiring up there for speakers. I believe that's usually what they do here with Home Pro, which is the company they use and they've been using for years but a lot of people tell me they want this space. Now, getting back to the developments that are here in Leander, there's also Leander Springs. Now, Leander Springs is not under construction. There's been a lot of back and forth with Leander Springs, so that's my disclaimer on this. But that is a $1 billion lagoon project that they're planning on putting in right off of 183A that is capitalizing, again, on that growth that's happened here. That's why you follow highway systems. Highway systems are everything here in Texas. And when that got announced, it was very exciting. There's been some hiccups, I think, in the process of trying to get that started, but that would be a very promising development that I hope they get started, okay? Now, those are the two things that I followed for years, and I tell people if you buy and build around big developments, that is not only great for future resale, but also great for livability when these projects do eventually come up. The other factor now is going to be the San Gabriel Parkway. So that is something that I'm still not getting time periods on, but if you look in this neighborhood of Palmera Ridge, you'll see they have 2 roundabouts on that street, the San Gabriel Parkway. And right now, it's not connected west of here, and east or west. Anyway, I can show this all to you on a map, but basically, they are planning on extending that to 183. That's at least the announcement that they've had. To my knowledge, we don't have yet a time period to do that, but that road should connect 183A and Ronald Reagan Boulevard. Those are, one's a highway, 183A. The Ronald Reagan Boulevard is the same street that Apple is building their second headquarters. And as of right now, when those streets get connected, that is huge for people in Palmera Ridge, because now you have very close access to 183A, and everything's being built around 183A. Also, if you want to get around to the city, to other parts like the Domain area, you can do that right off of 183A. You can get down to the airport off 183A. There's so many different use cases for being around 183A. And so I think being close to that highway system is really important. And these are the things that I'm planning ahead for all these communities. And I'm trying to get with developers, not just the builders, but the people that are actually developing these areas and doing big projects, doing big land projects. I'm trying to get in with them to see where they're going. And what they've always told me is this northwest corridor is very interesting. It's the top of their radar for the entire Austin, Texas metro area. And I think you can see that with big companies. For example, we had one children's hospital located just east of downtown Austin. And when Austin was developing fast, 2 children's hospitals got built out in the last couple years, and both of them built about 1 mile to 2 miles apart from each other in the northwest corridor of Austin. In fact, it's 20 miles northwest of downtown Austin. 2 children's hospitals that compete with each other both built their hospitals in the northwest corridor. So I think it kind of tells you this isn't just, a realtor saying that this area is going to take off, it's doing well. These are big companies and $1 billion developments giving their stamp of approval on these different areas. And that's why I've continued to bet on areas that I'm following the smart money, and the smart money is telling me that these areas will continue to do well over the next 10, 20 years. Now, that's not to say that in the short term, things can change, right? Nobody has a crystal ball on the short term, months from now. Nobody knows where interest rates are going on. Everybody keeps guessing, but nobody is ever right 100% of the time. But I think if you're looking at long-term bets, you're looking at areas with amazing views. This is why I keep coming out to areas like this. Now, these were homes here in Palmera Ridge. If you want to see other communities, reach out to me. I'd be happy to tell you all the pros and cons of these communities. And if you want to connect, you can scan this QR code. Right now, if you scan that QR code, it will start a call. All you got to do is confirm that you want to call me, and that will connect us together. We can jump on the phone. Even if you're early, I'll get an idea of what you're looking for here in the Austin, Texas metro. And then my team and I can start showing you options like this that are on market, but even options that are off market that nobody else can see, but builders tell me about, because builders know that I work with a lot of clients that are reaching out to me through YouTube and social media in general. Now, you can also find my number at the bottom of the description of this video if you're watching this on your cell phone. And also, if you want to see other homes for sale or model home tours, you're really enjoying these homes, then go ahead and click on this side of your screen. And as always, I hope this helps. Take care, everyone.